This week's declaration is I'm awesome, and that's the colouring book version of it. Her royal awesomeness. That's you. Now, you might think this declaration sounds arrogant, but that is really not my heart. You see, the thing is, most of us could very quickly list off our faults, the things that we're working on, the things that we're not so happy with. But how many of us would squirm if somebody told us to tell them our strengths and the things that we love about ourselves? We're so quick to look at our faults and not celebrate our strengths. The other day, I was walking through the corridor in our house and I was looking around at piles of things and unfinished projects, and I began to feel so discouraged. I thought, I am rubbish at finishing projects. There are all of these things that I really want to do and that I started and I just haven't found time to finish. And just a bit of kind of hopelessness began to grow in me and self-dislike, I guess. And I then sat down and began to listen to a podcast. I chose one by Joyce Meyer, and she was talking all about, guess what? Focusing on your strengths rather than your weaknesses. And it was such perfect timing, and it really blessed and challenged me. And she was saying, look, there are more good things about you than bad things, and reminding us that what we focus on will grow. We know that what we focus on, we empower. So if you sit there focusing on all the rubbish things about yourself, you will become them more and more. But as you embrace, celebrate, and recognize the awesome things about who you are, who God has made you to be, that is what will grow. And you will far more enjoy being with yourself, and then people will actually enjoy being with you more. She challenged us to write down a list of the things that we liked about ourselves and the things that we were good at, and then to even share that with a friend who would understand your heart and not think you were just being boastful. And it was such a good exercise. And she's like, you know what? The devil hates this even more when you write it down, because you're really making a statement about it. And it was so powerful, and it shifted the course of my day. And you know what? While I was listening to the podcast, I sat there and I finished a project, one of these pending projects that was filling the hallway. I actually sat and did whilst listening to the podcast. And my day could have gone two ways at that time. I could have let that thought of, I'm rubbish at finishing projects, run wild, and I wouldn't have managed to spend the day actually finishing something. But it was in taking that thought captive to the obedience of Christ and saying, God, who do you say I am? What do you love about me? That really set my heart free and took me to a whole different place that day, and enabled me to, bit by bit, began to actually finish things. So I challenge you today to write down a list of things that you actually like about yourself, and to share it with a friend who'll understand your heart. You can tell them what you're doing and challenge them to do it too. Because the truth is, you are awesome. And God knew all of the less awesome things about you when he made you and when he chose you. He still chose you. He's not put off by you. He's not worried about your weaknesses and your failings. We're works in progress. He loves to partner with you on those things, but it doesn't put him off. So do not focus on them. There are far more good things about you than there are bad. You are awesome.